Hi loves, it's Elle and welcome back to my channel and happy Skincare Sunday. I am answering a question from one of you guys that wanted to know what was the difference between purging and breakout. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that. Before we get started, hit that subscribe button, share this video with you think somebody might like it, and let's do it. All right, so purging and breaking out. This is actually something that I do get asked quite a bit, but one of my beautiful squad members said, can you really please do a video on this because it's confusing me, and I just wanted to get your take. So absolutely, we can chat about this, but you have to know that it can be a little bit of a confusing topic that does take some time to suss out. So purging and breaking out. Let's start with some products or ingredients that might cause the skin to quote unquote purge. And that is things like starting on new natural, all organic, holistic skincare, going from maybe more toxic to now all, holistic, organic, plant-based skincare, glycolic, AHAs, BHAs, so glycolic, salicylic, lactic, malic, so any kind of topical exfoliators, retinoids, retinoic acid, retin-A, tretinoin, niacinamide, alzaic acid, anything of that nature, prescription strength or kind of over the counter. Those are some of the more normal or mainstream ingredients that can cause skin purging. Now, the reason why the skin purges is because, so for example, we all have closed comedones underneath the skin for the most part. The amount of them really depends upon the person. And so what microcomedones are they're in the pores, so they're underneath the skin, and they're like whiteheads basically. And they all are under the skin and they come out at different times. Now, what these active ingredients do is they, like I said, the acids, the vitamin C, the niacinamide, the prescription strength, retin-A and different and all that stuff, they basically increase cell turnover. Cell turnover basically helps, obviously, new cells come to the surface, and what that's doing is it's pushing all of those closed, those microcomedones that are already in our skin to the surface much quicker. It's actually doing it sometimes in, just a couple of weeks that maybe sometimes would take years or months to do. It can even be pushing as quickly as a couple of days. So that is basically what purging is basically where the skin is getting rid of toxins. It's basically getting rid of everything, kind of the gunk, for lack of better words, that are already in our pores, and it's pushing it to the surface. Now, why you might see it more often when you're starting a new product with one of those actives in it is because, again, it's going to increase that cell turnover, and that's, again, pushing toxins out. So that is typically what we call purging, where it all comes to the surface at once, and it kind of is crazy and horrible to deal with at times, but it is a good thing. You do want to detoxify your skin. You do want to get those toxins out of your skin and those, microcomedones underneath that skin out. So it's not a bad thing. It is absolutely something that the skin needs to do and does naturally. Even if you weren't using those, they would come out anyway. It's just kind of speeding up the process and making them do it all at once. Purging sometimes can last days, or typically what I have seen in my clinic, it can last about 4 weeks, especially when I have suggested that a client goes to a dermatologist and gets on some sort of prescription strength tretinoin, alzaic acid, something of that nature. The purging can last for 6, 8 weeks. I mean, sometimes 2 months, 3 months. So that is more typical on that kind of prescription strength medication. But even topical acids, can last between 2 to 4 weeks of purging. A lot of people don't give their skin enough time to react and get rid of that purge before moving on, because they think, oh my gosh, my skin is just breaking out and I can't handle it. So usually what I recommend is staying the course, course for about 6 weeks and really seeing what that skin does. Obviously a little bit longer with more prescription strength, and obviously they're under the care of a dermatologist or a doctor, but you got to give your skin a chance to get rid of that purge and get rid of those the microcomedones. And again, it also can happen when you're doing this whole new healthy lifestyle as far as skincare, so more natural, organic, toxin-free ingredients. It basically, your skin is purging out all of those toxins. So if you are thinking that it is purging, give it a second. Give your skin a chance to react and do what it's supposed to do. Now, that is not saying that you should have burning, oversensitivity, tons of redness. I mean, those are signs that your skin is having a reaction to something new you have tried. We are simply talking about purging, which is basically acne coming up to the surface and doing what it's supposed to do, especially when you are doing a new acne treatment with a dermatologist. So again, talking about those prescription strength medications, they say all the time that it actually gets worse before it gets better. And again, it's just from that purging happening. So stay the course. If it lasts longer than those 6 to 8 weeks, I would really start to assess if it is now the product really is giving you acne, or if it's having a sensitivity to an ingredient. But usually purging shouldn't last much longer than those 6 to 8 weeks. Again, you under a care of a dermatologist if you are using prescription strength, so they will obviously tell you how long in most cases that ingredient that you're using will cause purging. Now, the difference between breakouts and acne is usually purging will, and again, in a general sense, usually purging will happen in the areas you normally break out. So for me, I break out here and I break out on my forehead every once in a while. So when I am purging, which I am doing actually right now as we speak, it's in the general areas that you would mostly break out in, and that is typically where purging happens. Now, if you're getting new pimples kind of all over the face that you haven't necessarily had before, that is something that I would be like interested to see what your dermatologist would say. In my opinion, I would immediately take off that product and back off that ingredient. You also can help with the purging as far as backing off of those prescription strength or new, new ingredients. That's why we talk about starting slow. Yes, the results might take a little bit longer, but sometimes it will help with the purging all at once, or inflaming any acne. The difference between purging and acne sometimes can be hard to spot. It sometimes can be hard to determine, to be honest with you, because they are the same thing. It's just that usually acne hangs around for a long time. Usually acne is something that comes and goes and you just have had a problem with it. Purging is something that comes up when you've added something new to your routine and then will go away over time. So if you are trying to figure out whether it's purging or acne, and you have gone the 6 to 8 weeks, that is time to bring in a doctor and talk to them about an appropriate acne routine for you. So that is why when we talk about purging and acne, it's very hard to differentiate the two, because they are essentially the same thing. So again, just making sure that you understand that purging can take a little while, and it does happen for various amounts of reasons. And so stay the course, be diligent about what you're doing, and again, try to go that 6 to 8 weeks, at least 4 weeks. You should progressively be seeing it, it has gotten worse, obviously, because now it's purging, but over time, you should progressively be seeing it get better. And that's what you want. If you're not seeing it get better, again, that is time to back off of that. But you gotta try that product out for at least 4 weeks to make sure that that purging is to really honestly purging and getting better. So I know that's a kind of a tough topic to have a conversation about because they are the same thing. But I hope that it kind of makes it a little clearer, at least a little bit clearer on if you actually are just purging or something is really acne. Usually if you have acne, though, you do. It's something that you probably either have dealt with many times before, and so, it's something that's not new to you. But I hope that this helps clear it up. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will talk to you on the next one. Lots of love from me to you. Bye, loves.